Alright, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be installing some new protaper Klx110 handlebars on the 2023 Honda Grom. We'll also be replacing the factory mirrors and grips. So we'll get a little bit straighter and a lot wider handlebar setup, but it should be pretty sweet. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so starting off, we're going to get the mirrors out of the way. So we're going to start by pulling the rubber boots up. And then we'll take the bottom nuts off to take off the entire assembly. Alright, and with both boots pulled up, we're going to zoom in here. And then all we have to do is just loosen this bottom nut that's attached to the brake reservoir here. And the clutch lever, both of them are normal threaded, so just lefty-loosey. Alright, and with the mirrors off of there, you're left with these two holes, and you can buy like specific little screws to screw in here to fill the gap, but we like to do, since we're doing them so often, we like to steal these plugs that you use on a car. We buy these cheap kits on Amazon because you're always losing them or breaking them when you're working on cars. So we'll buy these kits. And I'll have a link to this one in the description below. And then I shortened it to be the same length as the mirror. And I can just push this to plug the hole on the levers, since we'll be reusing these levers but with aftermarket mirrors. So we won't be reusing this hole. So I can just push it in. And it plugs it. It makes it, I think, it looks a lot cleaner and keeps debris and rain from getting in there and rusting it. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, it's pretty simple. I just picked the one that looked like it was the right size for that hole and got this lined up, and then I used, let's see if I can do this with the camera, a knife. And just cut off the excess. That would prevent it from going in all the way. And they're good to go. It's just kind of a neat little touch, and as a cool freebie if you have the kits. But they work really well. We've done it on several of the other bikes. And then now moving to the factory bar ends, we're going to remove those. And they're kind of a pain in the butt. But again, we're going to refer back to some of the automotive tools that we have. And that's part of, it's kind of fun if you don't have tools like this. It's kind of building your arsenal up. It kind of makes it more fun to tinker with your toys and build up your tool collection. This is an impact screwdriver. I've got a link in the description to a really popular one on Amazon if you guys don't have one. But it makes it a lot easier for taking off these bar ends, since they're like really hard, and it's pretty easy to screw up the screw head without this. But these are really handy when you're doing rotors on a car. Some of them are locked on with a screw, and those screws are always corroded in, so this is like the only thing to get those loose. So just a kind of a neat tool to have. There we go. Yeah, I tried it with the regular screwdriver, and it just, it didn't budge. All right, so we're gonna get it all the way in there, and then make sure the impact is going the right direction. Then we'll push it in some. There we go. If you don't have one of these, this is gonna be the hardest part. Alright, so we're going to be putting on some new grips. So we're going to be removing just the one for the throttle, since we're going to be putting the new ones on. But we're not going to cut them. We're going to actually use a compressor, air compressor, to blow them off. We'll see how that works.
can be done.
No, it's slippery. All right, now we're going to remove these removable cable ties, or reusable cable ties. All right, now we're going to be removing the switches and the levers, starting left to right. We're going to be using a 8mm T-handle and a Vessel JIS screwdriver. Not sure if we really need it, but they are kind of handy. And they're really good for carbs. You have to use them on carbs. Oh, okay. There we go. Then on the switch here, there's a dimple, so we'll have to re-drill that to fit that dimple on the new handlebars. And then before we remove the brake reservoir, since we don't want this to be upside down if we can help it, we're going to pop these covers off so we can remove the handlebars quicker. Alright, so with everything loose, we're going to use this hex head socket. And it's a little bit easier to get these off compared to a regular T-handle hex head. Oh yeah, that would have been really tricky. Dimples up top.
We're going to be pulling this off and on. Drill.
Oh. Alright, so as we were kind of eyeing things up, making sure everything's kind of lining up, and we like the handlebars in the position that they're at, we decided to go ahead and throw on the grip. And the grip went on really well. What we did was we put a little bit of WD on the inside of the grip and kind of pried it over top of, as you can see here, there's a little catch at the very end of the stock throttle tube. So with the lube and stuff, we were able to push it past that, and ended up fitting really nice. And it even has this grip specifically, I highly recommend, because it has the little groove on the inside of the outer part of the grip, or on the inside right here, that perfectly fits the throttle tube catch at the very end of the throttle tube. But now we're just kind of eyeing things up, making sure we got the handlebars where we want them, how far forward we want them, and getting things figured out. And then we were also debating on whether we're going to put on the bar end mirror adapters for the very end for our CRG bar end mirrors. But with these handlebars being so wide, we decided that we didn't really need them. So we're going to actually have this pushed in some, and we're just trying to figure how far in we need to put the throttle tube when we put the mirror on so they aren't touching. So we're just trying to figure that stuff out before we go ahead and drill the holes for the kill switch. Alright, so we got it lined up for the spacing that we want with the mirror for the bar ends. And we got this positioned at the right angle that we like. So to make our mark for drilling the hole, we're just going to squeeze this and move it back and forth slightly to scratch where the dimple is on the switch, and that way we can pull it out and then drill it to set its final position. All right, so we tried scratching the dimple with just the bar, to scratch the bar with the dimple, but it didn't end up marking it good enough that we were comfortable with. So what we did is we put a piece of painter's tape and then pressed it together again. And then now you can clearly see the dimple So now we know exactly where to screw in the position. So we have it right where we want it. And then to double check ourselves on the distance away from the bar end, so we aren't rubbing the grip's not rubbing against the bar end. We measured 31 millimeters from the very end of the throttle switch to the dimple center. So we are double checking that with the calipers to make sure that it's the exact distance that we want from the very end to the bar end. So we marked the very bottom of the very edge of the switch there to our dimple to double check it, like this. And we just use a little Sharpie marker to mark the end to double check ourselves. All right, so we got the grip on there, and then you can see we did the spacing, really trying to be precise on is the spacing for the bar and mirror between the bar and mirror and the grip. So you can see we have that slight little gap there so it doesn't touch and doesn't want to grab when we're spinning it, giving it throttle. Then we got the CRG bar and mirror right there, and these fold in when not in use, so it looks cool. And they match the bike really well. Get the gray with the gray and the black. We got them on all the bikes, or I have it on all my bikes, so they work really well, and you're good when you're used to them. But these are it. These are the, there we go, CRG Hindsight LS 3-inch round mirror.
Lane splitting.
Yeah, the LS is the lane splitting.
Yeah, this backside.
Ooh, that
That's
came out a
fine,
lot.
that's fine.
I didn't know it was that watery. All right, that's good. 27 Newton meters. Okay. All right, she's all finished. Came out really well. Everything is perfect. And we kind of did a little something different just for fun. Instead of using the chin pad or the bar pad here, we had some of this spare rope, and we just gutted the insides of the rope and put it over here. So it'll over the crossbar there, the supporting beam. But yeah, overall, the handlebar setup looks awesome. It's so much wider. And yeah, the bar and mirrors look good. Look killer. And yeah, these are our favorite grips. We have these on a lot of the bikes. You can see the FZ09. We got those grips on there. We kind of like it so the rubber is kind of how your hand grabs it. So we got the orientation of the grips good. But yeah, it looks awesome. It should make it a lot more comfortable riding it. But yeah, I've got the handlebars on there, so it's a little bit of tedious process, but it's fun. And Grom's just about perfect now, so I'll be doing a full mod review of the bike soon. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.